Now, I am the Merlin, and this recording is for all who care and love with charitable love enough to listen, and who happen to stumble upon this. I'm going to read two sections of two different books. The first is a Christian book, one of the Gospels of the Lord and Messiah, Jesus Christ. Jesus is also known as Yeshua to the Jews, or sometimes known as Yazoo. This is from the Gospel according to Saint Matthew, who formerly was a tax collector and then was called by the Messiah, Jesus, the carpenter's son, to be a disciple. Matthew later became an apostle, which means sent, which means that Jesus had sent him to do his work in the replacement of Jesus. It was to spread the message Jesus spread, that of love, peace, goodwill, sacrifice, and eternal resurrection. This is are the words of Jesus according to the eyewitness Saint Matthew. Are not sparrows 2 a penny? Yet without your Father's leave, not one of them can fall to the ground. Bear in mind, Jesus is speaking to his disciples. So it would include Matthew, Saint Matthew, as one of the receptors of these words. So I'll start again. Are not sparrows 2 a penny? Yet without your Father's leave, not one of them can fall to the ground. As for you, even the hairs of your head have all been counted. So have no fear. You are worth more than any number of sparrows. Whoever then will acknowledge me before men, I will acknowledge him before my Father in heaven. And whoever disowns me, the Christ, before men, I will disown him before my Father in heaven. Then, verse 34 of chapter 10. You must not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. I have come to set a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a son's wife against her mother-in-law, and a man will find his enemies under his own roof. This is the word of the Lord, and praise be to God. Now I'm reading through a book which I bought from a certain shop. I did it rather secretively, for I wanted no one to know what I was reading until I was willing to share it. This book, which I've been reading from, previous to readings are available in this playlist, providing I remember to add it to the playlist. So this is The Emperor's Legion. Now I'm going to go back a tiny bit to this particular paragraph, which is thought a word as the first person narrates his thoughts. You'll have to get along without me for a little while, I said. Try not to eat everything or each other while I'm gone. Then I was out into the corridors, padding along the polished floors of my domain. I was dimly aware of movement in the shadows, my cadres of close protection bodyguards hanging within last-shot range, tracking my every move. After so many years, I barely noticed them, and even had they not been clad in cameleo plate, I might have forgotten they were there together. My aide-de-camp, Anna Musa, Jack, fell in alongside me, her long gown whispering over the black marble. What's going on? I asked, never breaking stride. He's flanked by his gnolls, she said, speaking quickly as she always did. That makes things difficult. This is a guess. He's worried about Cardia. I'm worried about Cardia. I don't have much else. Run a grid search over his senior staff movements. Already underway. How many of our people do we have in Scolesia? 37. Portal. Tal. Advance a few chapters. This chapter is entitled Alea. I had never known the warp like it. Travel had always been difficult between the stars, and over the past few years I had been told many times by many different navigators that it had been getting steadily worse. Most of the things they told me about, the ether eddies and the surge tunnels, made no sense at all to me. But I could certainly feel the hammering our vessels took as they rattled through the Empyrean. On previous journeys I had often wondered what would have happened if I'd lifted the warp shutters and gazed at it, like the navigators do. A normal human would have been driven mad in seconds, they said. But then normal humans had souls, and thus their psychic realm was intelligible to them. What would I see? Nothing. Nothing? The legions of demons? The true essence of the warp itself? I'd never been sufficiently curious to find out. The chances were that the sight would have been fatal to me in one way or another. Pariah or not, the Empyrean was no place to linger in or gaze upon. Not if you wanted to keep your sanity. Now, though, I was half tempted again. The decks of the Cardamara were like drumskins, resonating in a way that put my teeth on edge. We'd already lost one of our secondary drivetrains, dropping our speed through the galactic mire and amplifying every crash and slew that the unquiet abyss imposed on us. I staggered down teetering corridors, feeling queasy from the weeks-long incessant movement. There was some irony to that. I spent most of my time making others nauseous, and now had some sympathy for how that felt. My sense of dislocation had another cause. For a while after returning to the ship, I had refused to mourn, preferring to channel my energy into activity. As the strange days in the ether had lengthened, though, my thoughts had turned increasingly to what had been lost. I had loved my sisters. It was a fierce, almost desperate kind of love, born of the fact that we shared such a unique bond. Now, I am the Merlin.